Commodore 64 lets you play hundreds more games than any video machine, plus draw, program, even do music.
I'm more alive than ever before, and my friends are knocking down my door. 'Cause now we're into so much more. We're into our Commodore 64.
Good morning, guys. I want to cover today a system from the early 80s. I think it came out in 1982. There was, I think, 2 or 3 different renditions or shapes. The ones I have are towards the end of the 80s, early 90s style. And the system I'm going to talk about today, guys, is Commodore 64. Now, I never ever owned one of these. As I said, I've said in previous videos, guys, my first system I ever bought myself was a Super Nintendo. Never ever owned an 8-bit system. As I say, guys, the Commodore is an 8-bit system. So basically, a few years ago, I was on my, as you know, my favourite site here in Ireland, Adverts. I think it was maybe 10 years ago, and there was a guy selling a whole pile of Commodore 64 items for, I think, at the time, for around €20. So I said, do you know what? I'll go and buy it and we'll see what we get. It was kind of potluck because I didn't know what was actually in the box. He said there was a console, a few controllers, and some games. And that's really all he said. So I made him the offer, went and collected it, and this is it here, guys. This is just, the box is a bit tatty, I know, but let's just see what's actually in here. Now, I have a couple of tea towels and they're just getting moist, you know, when it's in the shed stored. Anyway, guys, little bits and pieces here. So, what have we got in here? Okay, well, we have a game, WrestleMania, and this is actually the way the games would have come back in the day. Sometimes in one of these boxes, and I think other times they would just be in a cassette box. Do I have any cassettes here? I do. There we go, guys. So you would have actually bought them either in a cassette, because as I say, in Europe, Commodore was predominantly tape. Games on tape, or sometimes you could get games on cartridge. And basically you'd have to load the games from basically the tape. And sometimes you would have gone this way. So you would have got your little tape in a bag and your instructions, you know, and the instructions came in I think they came in a couple of different languages. Never really looked at this. Yeah, look, it just gives you loading instructions. And as I say, this game's in very good condition and it still has its original bag, which is fantastic. Fantastic. Anyway, guys, let me see. Now, before I show you the system, guys, because the controllers are on top, I'm going to show you the controllers. And I remember he had an actual Atari controller. And I was kind of going, will that work on this? And he was like, yeah, that'll work perfect with your Commodore. So you can use the standard one-button Atari controller with it. And then he had this other controller, which I think is the third party. What is it? It's something or other. I can't read that writing. Anyway, guys, that was, you know. So you had your little thing, just stick it to your table, find your shoot up games and blah blah blah. I don't like this controller. I actually think this controller is quite good. This controller, not amazing for the Atari games. As I say, I've never really tried it out properly, but from what I have tried, that controller's not. I think this is my favourite controller, right? So anyway, he also had a couple of these ones, if anyone remembers these controllers. Bart Simpson, because if you remember back in the early 90s, well towards the late 80s, I think around 88, 87, 88, Bart was huge, and you know, it's still quite big today. And these were the kinds of controllers they released. So you had the standard connection for your, basically this would have fit your Mega Drive as well, but you had the connection to fit your Commodore. I'm not too sure what the second connection is for. Now, if anyone knows online what this second connection is for, do you plug the two of them in together? I don't know. But anyway, guys, that is Bart. Here. So, let's just put Bart over there. Guys, look. I have another tatty and very bad Bart controller. Okay? I know. There's a bit of a theme here, guys. And once again, I have another Bart controller. Now you can see down the bottom, I mean Bart looks fine, but down the bottom the blue is starting to kind of going off, yellowy, greeny colour. But yeah, look, I got those 3 controllers. At the moment, guys, you can think it didn't cost that much. Now, anyone that has Commodores or has had a group with a Commodore, you would know more of it than I would. I personally, I played one or two of the games. You can see up here. They're okay. I mean, I never had an 8-bit system. I kind of started on a 16-bit. So, also inside the box was this connection, which connects into the back of the Commodore. I'll just show you here, guys. La, 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 la. And it outputs basically in composite. Do you know? But I normally would use, when I'm playing on my TVs, I'd normally put on one of these connectors and just plug it in SCART on the older TVs, and it looks really, really well. So that is that. Right. What have we got else we got in here, guys? Oh yes, okay. Now guys, I'm going to show you here. This is the tape deck. Now unfortunately, with a lot of stuff from the 80s, the 90s, that would have white plastic. It's unfortunately starting to yellow. So basically, there's your tape deck. And let's see if we can get out the Commodore now next without, oh yes, the power supply. Oh crickets. And the power supplies are quite heavy. So this is an original power supply with the plug that it came with, but I don't know if that's an original plug or if someone put a plug on it. So there's your, and I mean, like that's the colour. You see here guys, it's not yellow at all. That your tape deck really should be, but unfortunately isn't. There's that. Now guys, do hit me up in the comments if you had a Commodore 64. What would be like? What's your opinion on it? Do you know? Do you still have your Commodore 64? What game should I pick up for it? Any suggestions like that would be good, because I haven't really kind of played it. I'm trying to look for a game here, guys. I can't remember the name of it that I tried a few weeks ago. I put a clip of it up here. Up here, it's kind of like a space shoot 'em up, or shoot 'em up I should say. It took me a while to load it actually, because sometimes, oh yes, is that it? Nope, I've loads of games here guys, and I'm all in bags. I don't know where that game has gone now guys. Look, you've got one of them. Anyway, let's just get out the Commodore. There we go guys. And this is the Commodore. Here she is guys. So basically, your tape deck plugged into the back of it here. The tape deck plugged into the back of the port here. Where is it? Here. And your video went in here. And basically, now you could output standard, you know, the TV, you could tune it in. And your two, at the side here guys, you have your power switch, and your two controller 1, controller 2. There's your power, with this big chunky power piece. Where's it? This power piece goes in here at the side. Now, this system guys, it's old. I think this one is 87, I think. So, except for the little bit of yellowing on it, it's holding up quite well, and it does still power on perfectly, guys. I'm going to put this over here, but I really want to show you that game that I'm on about, guys. This is it here, is it? Yes, Nemesis. Put this game on. Now, it took me a few attempts to load it, because sometimes the games wouldn't load. I think maybe I have to clean the heads in this, but this is the game here, Nemesis. I'll put a clip up here, guys. Very, very good shoot 'em up, space shoot 'em up, basically. And with this controller, it's fantastic. And I really enjoyed that game. Another game that I enjoyed. This one here, guys. Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Now, the only time that I ever got to try a Commodore 64 was way back, I can remember, back in 1991 at a friend's house. Now, they're only living over the road from us. Well, they used to live over the road from us. And he actually had the Commodore 64. And he actually had this game, but he did in the cartridge form, because his parents had bought him the Commodore 64. And I'll put a picture up here of the box set, and it came with the cartridge of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And basically your cartridge went in here at the back. Where's it here now? Where's it now? This is set. I think, yeah, it was in here, the cartridge went. Now, I've never used the cartridge on the Commodore 64, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I remember he had the game in it, and that was the only one and ever time that I actually tried the Commodore 64, and this is the game I played. And when I picked up this bunch of Commodore items, like, you know, this whole box of stuff, this game was in it. And it's still in its original bag, and instructions and all are inside this. So, let me see. This game I did try a few weeks ago. I'll put a clip up here. I couldn't get it, guys. I kept dying. And when you died in, you have to either, I think you have to rewind, if I'm right, you have to rewind side 2, press play again for it to load onto the same level again. Quirky, a lot of fun, but if you're not really into, like, say you want to try the Commodore 64, I wouldn't be going down this road and buying, just for the sake of trying out the console. I'd go down the lines of an emulator on your PC, and it'll load up quite fast, the games and stuff. That's the way I'd go. I mean, if you had a Commodore and you want to go back to it again, by all means go and buy one, because they're not too expensive. But if it's just to try out, guys, you're better off on the PC, because I have this, as I said, guys, a good few years. Never really played or did anything with it. It was just it came up and I said I'd buy it. And I have, I say, only briefly tried a few games. I had a lot of issues loading stuff because it's old, guys. It is old. But I know you can buy a cartridge that you can stick an SD card into, which will plug into the back of this here, and will allow you to load the games that way. So basically you can open up the whole library of Commodore games for that. Now I haven't bought one of those. Might buy one of these days. About, I think it was around 2017. Again, we had this a few years. There was a guy up in Dublin, we saw the ad in adverts, and he was actually selling boxed Commodore 64. I was going to go, will we get it? And my husband Kieran was saying, do you know, are we going to play it? We've never really played this other one. And I said, but it would be nice to have a boxed one, and maybe in time we might get into playing one. We still have yet to kind of get into playing them. I'm kind of struggling with the 8-bit, if you know what I mean. I find sometimes the games to be a bit unresponsive, but again, they're so old. And I didn't grow up with it, so I kind of question it. I prefer 16-bit. Anyway, it's the bit wars once again. So anyway, we went up to Dublin. We met a guy in Bray, out in Bray, and we bought a version of the Commodore 64 called the Night Moves version. Now the box is tatty, guys, but I just want to show you it here. Okay, so one second now, guys. So that is the front of the box. I think that's the front of the box, yes, called Night Moves. And if anyone grew up here in Ireland, remembers Late Late Show, it looks very like the owl from the Late Late Show. So basically in the box, you would get your Commodore 64, your tape deck, 2 Commodore controllers, and a bunch of games. Now I am going to open this up, guys, and I'm killing myself in the elastic bands. And I'm going to show you that it does actually have its stuff in it. Now, I do apologise, guys. The box is very, very tatty. So what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to put this down here on the ground, and I'm just going to get the stuff out of it. Okay? So, here we go. I'm trying to not damage the box, because the box is quite old and damaged. Right? And this is the way we got it. So, here we go again. So there are your 2 controllers. So I'll take it out of the bag here now, guys. And these are the 2 controllers you got in the box. And there we go. Just to show you guys, it actually does have all its original items. There's your second controller. So you would have got these in this box, Night Moves box. And then you would have got, now I have all the games put into bags, but I don't know if these games, these bunch of games came in cartridge boxes. I don't know, because when I bought this off this guy, none of the games. No, I have all the games that were in it in there. I have them all in little bags to keep them from getting broke, basically. So look, in really, really good condition, guys. Boxed tape deck. I mean, it is in very good condition, guys. Look, fully boxed tape deck. The box is immaculate. So there you go, guys. That's the tape deck. And now, try and get the Commodore out. The box. I don't want to damage the box anymore. This is awkward on camera, guys. I probably should have done it beforehand. But anyway, we cut and we go. Here we go. Okay, guys, and this is the Commodore. Now, I'm not sliding this out, guys. It's basically the sleeve, and you've got 2 styrofoam. The Commodore is inside there. It was weighted because the power supply is heavy. So that's the front of the box, showing the beautiful Commodore 64. And on the back of the box, then it shows. So there's the Commodore, the monitor you could get. And in the US, and I don't know, could you get it here? I'm not too sure. Let me know in the comments if you could. You had your Commodore 64 disk drive, and then you had your Commodore 64. What that is it a printer or something? Commodore Drunker? No, Commodore printer, yeah. So if you require a hard copy of your work, a Commodore printer is the ideal answer. It will connect directly to your Commodore 64 and provide all the speed and versatility you require. And again, with the Commodore disk drives, the Commodore disk drive provides fast and easy access to programs or data, the ideal storage system for your Commodore 64. I mean, they make it sound fantastic. And again, your Commodore color monitors, a Commodore color monitor will give sharpest pictures and the most vivid color from your Commodore 64, plus audio output for sound and music. Yeah. Not bad, guys. As I say, guys, this Commodore 64 is 1987. It says it here, guys, Commodore Electronics 1987. So this was released, this was released in 1987. Because I remember the guy said to me that it was himself and his brother got it for Christmas. And I'm assuming it was Christmas 1987 because this console shows 1987 manufacturer backwards. So anyway, guys, that's my quick look at the Commodore 64. Hit me up with comments, and I'd like to know your opinions on the Commodore 64. What should I try out on it that will change my mind and make me actually like 8-bit games? The only one that, as I said, I did really like was Nemesis. Once I got it loaded, I had a couple of problems loading it. But once it was loaded, fantastic game, and it worked really, really well with the Atari controller. So, anyway guys, that's my video for this another week, and I hope you liked it. It's a bit wacky, but you can see, I mean, all this Commodore stuff that we got here, we got it all for less than, I think we paid something like €40 for this box, Commodore 64, back in 2017. So they're not expensive. There was a lot of mass produced. They were a very, very popular computer, and they were popular all the way up to 94, I think 96, where it kind of fizzled out, and I think Commodore itself went bankrupt. I must double check. And yeah, so guys, that's my little rendition of the Commodore 64. But yeah, as I say, do tell me what games I should try. Is it worth buying the cartridge, SD cartridge for the back of it for loading games? Or am I better off just sticking with playing games on the emulator on the PC? Give me your opinion, guys. I do hope you like what we picked up. As I say, I like picking stuff up. Not necessarily try it all the time, but yeah. Anyway guys, take care, have a great week, and we shall talk to you in the next one. Mind yourselves.